this call from Mexico.
Wow.
It's gonna be her comeback.
Annan is here. What's up, Annan? I think we should listen to the music again.
Oh, let's do it.
We'll do this all night with them. It'll just ruin their whole experience.
Just play 20 seconds every few minutes. Makes it funnier.
This is their lives, trying to get some guy who live streams everything.
Who is no name?
So watch, we'll just leave it like this. All right, I'm gonna pipe in another Clubhouse room for the audio.
This is a hell of a regiment.
Men of the 20th Maine Regiment of Volunteers, this is your commanding officer, Colonel Adelbert Ames. Yeah! Quiet! You do not cheer an officer. You salute him. 20th Maine, I commend you for the enthusiasm that has made you volunteer for service in President Lincoln's army. I can see that many of you are strong and fit. But tough muscles and skillful shooting are not enough to make a soldier. That requires discipline. Major Gilmore tells me you are in the habit of holding discussions with your officers. That will cease from now. An officer's orders are to be obeyed instantly and without question. This regiment must learn to move as one man. Otherwise, we will all be killed. Major Gilmore, see if you can teach them to march. Yes, sir. When I say 20th Maine, attention, you bring your feet together. Drop that damn drumming!
This is a hell of a regiment.
Men of the
Having no place in me.
The most overpriced thing.
If you use this sound a bit.
Prairie. We have a great guest today, congressional candidate John Kitover. How are you doing today, John?
George, I'm doing great. How are you doing today?
I'm doing real good too. I see you got the whole campaign, the headquarters going there.
Or El Normal. It could be a number of designers because they're scared to come up here with the real account. Or that Moshe Yisrael. That idiot has a plus account as well. They're all fucking Zionist fucks.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yep. That's how it is. They tend to hide their identity, man. You know, they really, you know, that's what it is. Anyways, I think we should. Where did that guy go? Well, I think we should listen to the actual national anthem of Israel. I think that's it's a good one. Let me see. Let me ask Amar to play it.
I've got a lot of YouTubes going, Instagrams, X accounts, Clubhouse. I try to do a lot of mass communication for the campaign at home.
I saw that. That's how you got on my radar. Was all social media. You're probably way better connected in that aspect than your opponent, Phil Hood. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I live in Chicago, 42 years old, and I'm a graduate of the Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina, which is a military college. I was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army National Guard, served from 2002 to 2006. And then I've worked in digital marketing, media buying.
It shows.
Advertising technology for about the past 20 years, 15 years. And I've worked in the government at the Treasury Department and the Department of Commerce, working in real estate operations, leasing, project management. And I launched this campaign to run for Congress a couple months ago. We've raised about $600, mostly through social audio, through an app called Clubhouse, which is similar to X Spaces. It's basically a Zoom conference call, essentially. It's all audio. And I'm trying to defeat Darren LaHood, who I view as being a negative Republican who's created $20 trillion in debt in 10 years. So I'm fighting. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm saying I'm fighting for the people of the district in 16th district in Illinois, for the whole state of Illinois, and for MAGA and Republicans all around the United States who believe that our government is borrowing and spending way too much money, and we have to cut the spending.
That's a pretty big order because Lee Hood's he's going to have the Illinois GOP behind him. He'll have some federal stuff behind him. He's going to have money to spend. Right now, you're at about $600. What's your strategy to counteract that?
It's by having conversations with you in open, frank, transparent manners. It's grassroots, and unfortunately, the algorithm doesn't favor me. It literally create as much content as you can, connect with as many people as you can, and really getting on the ground in Rockford and Peoria. The number one goal of this campaign right now is to get 1,000 signatures on our petitions.
Sure.
So I'm pretty confident over the next 3 weeks on Fridays and Saturdays in Rockford and in Peoria, we'll be able to get the number of signatures to get on the ballot in March.
Don't forget to hit the metro station. Those are great places to harvest the voters from. Let's go back to LaHood real quick. You call him a rhino, which is become almost cliche at this point. Everyone's a rhino that's running against someone else. When we look at him, though, his voting record isn't. You guys see eye to eye on some stuff. What is it you're not seeing eye to eye on him with him that caused you to run here?
Really, it was his COVID-19 response. If you do a cross comparison between open secrets and all the HR acts that he has voted on, it's not a 10% or 80% correlation. It is a 100% correlation between all open secret donors and all HR acts. So there's a 100% correlation between HR acts and lobbyists who are essentially paying him to vote for all these funding measures. And it started with the HEROES Act and the CARES Act. The amazing thing about Grok on X is you can use it to go through all the HR acts and identify by the largest acts and whether LaHood voted on it, and then who the Fortune 500 corporations are that receive the most amount of money through those acts. And there's a 100% correlation in open secrets with all his donors. He has over $12 million or over $10 million in his campaign account. And so in my opinion, he's running a skimming operation. And this is what a lot of Congress people are doing. They have 10 to 20 to 30 million in their checking account, all given by lobbyists. So that is primarily the reason why I want to wake people up in the 16th district. Say, hey, he has created $20 trillion in debt plus $5 trillion a year over 10 years. He's responsible for spending $70 trillion. What have the people in Illinois District 16 really gotten from LaHood for all those trillions of dollars? He likes to say it's all about jobs at Caterpillar, etc. So, in my opinion, he's wasting the money. We have to stop borrowing and spending, and that's why I'm running against Darren LaHood in the 16th district.
And in deference to your campaign too, some of those jobs he talks about didn't really appear. You look at what happened with Stellantis; they only got one with a fraction of those jobs coming back. So it might be good to have someone holding his feet to the fire.
It goes to show you that it is very difficult to create a successful business. I've launched many different businesses, and you can borrow from the taxpayers and create these businesses that go out of business, like Fisker and the electric buses that Pritzker gave us.
Yeah.
So it's super hard to create a business. And when a government creates a business by borrowing and taxing, that's not the bedrock or the cornerstone for building a good business. They're set up to fail, and it puts all the debt on future taxpayers. So it's
that's not
an unfair bargain.
No. What did you do in the Army? You're in the Army National Guard. What you do there? I know you're an officer, so it's a little different. I'm not looking for.
Sure. So I can tell you, I went to the Citadel, which is a prestigious military school in Charleston, South Carolina. And while I was there, 9/11 happened. So I joined the Army National Guard in what they call the simultaneous membership program. So I started out as a PFC, then a specialist, then a sergeant in the infantry. And so I went to Fort Benning, Georgia, practiced war fighting for 4 months in the forests of Georgia, graduated college, got commissioned in intelligence, and I worked in translations, interrogations.
Oh.
The Army is Army work. That's digging trenches, fighting, and being in cities. I didn't deploy to Afghanistan or Iraq. I was all around the United States. and then I started working in digital communications. I think from a forensic accounting standpoint, let alone just AI and the queries that I have put into Grok. If you go to my X account, it's John Kitover, Illinois, that's IL. And I will retweet some of my best Grok queries trying to untangle congressional borrowing and spending, borrowing from the Federal Reserve, really looking at our ledger books, our balance state.
Just too much, and that's where we're at right now. And IDF has killed a whole bunch of people, and we just don't know what to do, man. Well, thank you very much, Mark, for playing that national anthem of Israel. And some people call it Israel, some people call it Zionist entity. I call it Zionist entity because from Muslim paradigm, it's freaking blasphemous to call it Israel. Israel is the name of the prophet, peace and blessing upon him. So that's what it's about, And I think we should, what is it called? Let me see.
And saying, you know what, guys like Darren LaHood are kicking the can down the road over and over. 10 years now. So this is my background, but I'm really trying to stop the borrowing and the spending. I think it has to become a mantra with Republicans. I'm standing with Thomas Massey, Ron Paul. I supported the Ron Paul campaign from California. I have a good picture with him. And I just believe that we are digging a hole. We have to stop digging this hole of debt and borrowing and spending from the Federal Reserve. We have to cut Medicare, Medicaid. We have to cut the NDAA. And I think we can preserve Social Security, but cutting the military-industrial complex and big pharma are the number 2 priorities of my campaign. So that means Lockheed Martin, Northrop Grumman, Boeing, Pfizer, Moderna, J&J, AstraZeneca, the hundreds of billions of dollars in tax credit.
And that's what it is.
It's that they got from the big beautiful bill, $500 billion a year from taxpayers and tax credits. That is the primary focus of my campaign.
You segued exactly where I wanted to go. I'm just going to ask about the big beautiful bill. That was a huge expansion of spending. So I think you pretty much told us where you stand on that. You weren't exactly pro big beautiful bill.
We can kill the 2 biggest problems in our society, which is the military-industrial complex and big pharma. We have to cut the Medicare and Medicaid by probably $1 billion to $2 billion a year, and the National Defense Authorization Act by about $200 to $400 billion a year. We'll be able to start paying down the debt. We can lower taxes, and we can stop funding big pharma, which is poisoning us, and the military-industrial complex, which is taxing us and doing military policing around the world. And Darren LaHood has kicked the can and funded this for 10 years. He's been a congressman in the 16th district, and I think the connecting district before redistricting. But he is a can kicker. I'm going to crush his can, and I'm going to recycle it for the American people and for the people in the state of Illinois.
Let's talk about vaccinations. I'm not real clear on where you are on vaccinations as far as if it's just a COVID vaccine or if what you stand on other vaccines.
Let me just start with COVID-19 and that vaccine response. The HEROES Act in March of 2020 was the first $1 trillion tranche or omnibus bill that Darren LaHood voted for. And that is the start of it. That's when Pfizer was able to get
their resources. And then you have Zionists sacrificing red heifers trying to bring it all on earlier. I think you're pretty safe that Bitcoin's going to be $1 million by 2035 because U.S. will have to keep printing more and more and more every single year. And those are the 4 reasons why.
I hate begrudgingly saying this, but Elon Musk is right about the debt being the super issue. And my hope is that you get an Elon-backed Thomas Massey for 2028. Otherwise, I don't see, we're not going to stop aid to Israel. We're not going to register AIPAC under FARA. We are going to war with Iran again. All this crap's inevitable. without a leadership change. And Massey's the only one that all do it, both party, all. He's the only one, and he'll never get elected unless the richest man in the world has his back. Then that's exciting, and it's like Elon doesn't care about Zionism or that. Elon doesn't care about a lot of things, but he does care about the debt, and he will back Massey because of that issue. Serendipitously, we'll get all the other good stuff. Like if we got rid of this Zionist parasite, so many things. It's like it's hard to imagine what the world would be like without it. Like how great things would be.
But I think he's come out and there's reports that he's going to back Vance, and I think that's something we predicted a long time ago.
Yeah, I know.
But sucks, you know. And I think that's because they're all part of the same crew. But Simon, you disagree with Joe, right? You don't think that and Ryan, I guess, that you don't think there's going to be war, right?
Oh no, there's going to be war. There always has to be war. You just got to move it somewhere else. So I believe that I believe that we're not going to. No, I don't believe the war with Iran will happen. I think it's going to all be Europe, and then I think America's going to come after Latin America and South America. I think that there is a different vision for the Middle East, and I think America will be working with the Gulf states and something. Yeah, I mean maybe. I don't see Iran being the one where it happens.
It'll settle who's in charge. America or Israel.
It is working with the Gulf states. They are sending carriers and things towards Venezuela. There's already a war in Europe with Ukraine. But Israel bombed Yemen. Their troop rotation, I said this when the last time I was on Australia, but they come back in September. They will reinvade Lebanon, and Iran's still on the chopping block. And you're like, yeah, but they can't win that. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, it's what Israel wants. It's what Israel's going to get. We said this last time. I was like, they're going to go to war with Iran. It's not the MIC. It is the Zionists. They are going to get what they want. And that's what U.S. policy is going to do. It's what it's always done. And after the fact, they're like, oh, yeah, well, we're not there because of the missile manufacturers or whatever. We're there because of Zionists. That's why they spend millions of dollars lobbying Congress to get their way.
Yeah, I think it's actually structured into the post-Bretton Woods system that America needs to continually be at war. So people talk about Afghanistan not winning because it was 20 years, spent $2 trillion. But Afghanistan was a mechanism for stealing $2 trillion from the American taxpayer and creating that socialism for corporations, because the $2 trillion went to the companies, and so victory is just continually feeding the socialism for American corporations as opposed to 100%.
And another element there is it liberated the opium, and that narcotics budget is black market, which allowed the CIA to finance private mercenary armies, which is what they did in Syria, the same way they used narcotics money to finance Contras in Nicaragua, with Israel selling contraband to Iran, as well as the drugs. They took the opium out of Afghanistan. We had an opioid crisis in the United States. 100,000 people died. That's like several Vietnams. 100,000 people died from the opioid crisis, from this liberated heroin. And they used the proceeds to pay for HTS to destroy the sovereign country of Syria by paying a bunch of, and we were partners with your Gulf Arabs in that too, to destroy Syria. So it wasn't just the above board money that they profiteered out of Afghanistan. It was the dirty underbelly, because they're not going back into Vietnam, so they went and got the poppy fields somewhere else to pay for black budgets. It was a win. Like if you look at it from, well, the Taliban is still in charge, blah blah blah. Well, that was never the goal. The goal was just to have a medium to waste money on and sell it to the public of like we're chasing around Osama bin Laden or something because he did 9/11. So we're attacking the Taliban in Afghanistan because of Al Qaeda. It didn't matter. They're all towelheads. The public can't tell the difference. It's not just the public. People in Congress are like, they attacked us in 9/11. Like, no, they didn't. Afghanistan and the Taliban had nothing to do with September 11th. But they're like, but the Laden's there. Like, oh, he's physically there. Actually, he was in Pakistan, but okay, so he's in that country, so we're gonna overthrow it and have a regime change. How stupid! I want to withdraw from all these wars. Just invade Canada. That should be the plan.
Yeah, and who was behind the opioid crisis, like you said, the 100,000
Tacklers.
Exactly. You know, they called the Tel Aviv University Medical School, they called it Sackler School of Medicine because of how much money they donated there. So, you know, they're Israeli patriots, and they did a good job for Israel, you know, of poisoning America.
You know, Israel does have patriots. We don't.
Good point.
Now with this, when they bomb another hospital today, Sully, what's going on? It just makes my stomach turn.
Yeah, it was basically what they'd done was Al Nasser Hospital, as you know, is the only last operating hospital. Even there, it's on his knees when it comes to operation. So they did a double tap on it, Ryan. So they basically bombed, and then when journalists and medical and aid workers were going to save them, they bombed them again. But they caught it on camera, so they had to pretend like it was an accident. It's crazy how they can just apologize and everything's forgiven.
I'm surprised they didn't say it was a Hamas misfire. Remember when they bombed the courtyard? Like, we didn't bomb the hospital. Like, oh yeah, you bombed the courtyard. Everyone's gathered around the hospital thinking maybe they won't bomb here. And they hit it with the JDAM. That was also recorded. You could hear the sound. Do you remember this? Early in the war, they're like, oh no, that was a Hamas rocket that like U-turned and came back and hit. Bullshit.
Yeah, just like it was Al Ahli Baptist Hospital. You're right, Ryan. I find they used to make excuses for hitting hospitals, and then they proceeded to bomb every single hospital after that. You know, so
it was an Anglican hospital that everybody reported as Baptist for some reason. But yeah, that's what I remember right now. It's like they blamed it on Hamas. And someone just said, like, yeah, they can just go, oops, and all is forgiven. It really doesn't matter. Like, people all thought I was being sarcastic. Like, Netanyahu could go up on stage and eat a baby and blame the baby. And Christian Zionists would be like, yep, it was just going to grow up to be the next Hitler.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I think with this one, the issue, actually, to be honest, even if you remember with the Al Ahli Baptist Hospital, they bombed it, and then they basically initially came out and actually took credit for it, right? If you remember that Naftali guy, and a few others came out and literally said, yeah, we bombed it because Hamas was there. And then when the blowback was huge, they backtracked and lied and said that they didn't bomb it. Obviously, we exposed it, as you said, Ryan, through like various threads, to listen to the noise of the JDAM and various other things. And also looking at the angles of the bomb and at the time, the statements that were made. But then they backtracked and pretend they didn't bomb it. In this situation, it was very similar. They came out and literally said, yeah, there was a Hamas camera on the hospital building, so they were trying to take the camera out. But then some Israelis came out and just admitted that they were trying to kill the rescue workers, so they had to kind of blag it.
Yeah, as if Hamas just rolled out an artillery piece in the courtyard and was firing from a hospital. Like, come on. They just say, oh, why'd you bomb that house? Hamas had a weapon in there. They had a tunnel under it or something. And they bombed everything. You look at aerial photos, Gaza City, it was Hamas in every house, because you hit every house. This is total ethnic cleansing. It's a genocide. They're like, it's not a genocide. You don't wait till the genocide's finished to call it a genocide. You say it as it's happening. You don't wait till they're all dead and then go, oh, now it's a genocide. But they are genocidal maniacs. And they believe that land belongs to them. They have God-ordained racism. And unfortunately, America pays for all of it.
Yeah, but
you know what's crazy, Ryan, is a lot of them have been coming out with these some videos of like expensive restaurants and or expensive food outlets and making it look like it's in Gaza. And it's like, you have to think that people are retarded. Like, if you look at the visuals from the air of Gaza. Like, how would anyone think that there's a brand new operating restaurant?
But that's the problem. People are retarded. That kind of propaganda works because people have their belief is based on ideology, not reality. And so if they don't want to believe Israelis are starving people to death, and all they go, look, I saw a video of a new restaurant. It must be true because that matches my faith. Faith meaning their ideology.
Tommy Robinson supported here earlier, right? And he was exactly how he described.
This freaking demon.
Yeah, he just believes
all
what was
these
comfortable to believe.
Satanist people are
yeah,
like,
and Obama was the master of this because he would do totally abstract big statements like I'm for hope and change, which lets you fill in the blank for what hope and change you want to whatever is psychologically gratifying. Doesn't have to match reality at all. And of course it doesn't. Just give them more time. That's what they say. And all these maggots for Trump, I don't know what they're expecting. I get it, better than Biden, so what? But I think they honestly thought he was gonna do things for them. Oh yeah, they're gonna deport 55 million immigrants. Like, that's not happening.
Are you talking to yourself?
It's harder for Trump this time around because the X has been liberated.
No, Layla, we're listening to live Bali Twitter Space.
Elon's there. They're all having a hard time.
Do you see the title? It's a live Twitter Space that's running with 800 people in there.
I was like, dude, he's talking to himself.
No, I asked Amar to play the live Twitter Space because the room got boring. There's nobody here. Nobody wants to speak.
Amir, I'm actually in that space right now. I'm listening to the space right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing, you know. And listen.
I always like to speak.
Not the one they just bitching out loud.
What do you want to speak about, Layla? Go on.
States like Florida.
Well, let's talk about how Cherry is
I think Layla might be Gaffy meter with John McCain. Gaffy means
Do you want to speak? I can mute it.
Now they have a Star David license plate. Holy crap.
Speak for sure? Okay.
I'm all for it. I'm like, you know what?
There you go. You guys have the mic.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. So, Chucky, tell me, okay, give me some talking points when Jews want to say that the foundation of Israel is actually something that is, like found in the religion of Judaism. How would you respond to that?
Would I respond to that question?
How do you respond to that?
I would respond to something like this, that loss of life is bad, regardless if they're Jewish or non-Jewish. We need to come together to find solutions to bring peace between the Israeli government and the Palestinian authorities.
No. Okay, so I'm going to give you some context. Okay, so basically today was like the first day of like extracurriculars at my medical school, okay? And like, the SJP doing the SJP thing, right? Like, we're tabling, we're raising awareness, and some like dumbass comes up to our table and is like, oh, this is so like anti-Jewish of you, this is so not inclusion of faith. And he turns to like the one hijabi at our table and he's like, of course, like, this is your Islamic superiority complex. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, we're like, get the fuck out. And he's like, no, this is so like anti-Jewish of you, like in my faith we're promised Israel, and like everything that you do in your existence, even this table, is just anti-Semitic. So I was like, really? Like, is that, like, how true is it that Israel is actually promised in the Torah to the Jewish people, right? Like, how true is that actually? That they have a land that, like, how true is it that this is like their God's promised land, if what I'm saying is making sense?
No, it makes sense. I was just giving you an exact. Hey, my brother, when Chucky is talking, you mute your mic, all right? But what I was saying, what I was giving you was an example of how a Zionist would answer that question. You asked a very valid question, and you must understand that the mind of the Zionists is so small that their whole technique is to derail the conversation, but it does tell us in our Torah that we will return back to the land, but it's during the times of the Messiah, and right now it's clearly not the times of the Messiah.
Okay, so when the Messiah, so in your scripture, when the Messiah comes, is it like what we see today, like what's happening in Israel, or how would that play out?
No, so when the Messiah comes back, that's pretty much the ending of the world that we know of today. When the Messiah comes back, that it would be a period of true peace, So what we're seeing today shows me, based off of my scriptures, because that is not the time of the Messiah. The Messiah is not here.
Okay, so essentially in Jewish scripture, what is happening in Israel right now is wrong, and it is not the way that I guess you could say, like, the day of judgment or like the end of time is supposed to come. It's supposed to come with peace. It's supposed to come with like no suffering. Is that what you're saying, right?
I mean, there will be suffering, but I mean, as far as in the land, right now, there would be no beef between the Palestinians and the Jews.
Okay, I'm still confused because, so this person was telling me, right, and they stood at the table for like, I would say like a good 5 or 10 minutes, and they were just like arguing with us about religion, and we literally told them, I was like, the MSA table is like 2 tables down, go talk to them, right? And we even had like MSA members like come and talk like religion with them and stuff like that, because I'm not qualified whatsoever.